to learn effectively, get smart without wasting time, cut through the noise.
Right.
So today we're going to tackle this really interesting idea, something that might actually shift how you think about your goals.
Which is?
It's this notion that aiming for absolute perfection, it might actually be stopping progress.
That's right. Yeah, we've been digging into this source, why perfection is the enemy of progress. And honestly, it's packed with some thought-provoking stuff.
Okay.
So our kind of mission here is to figure out why. Why does chasing flawlessness sometimes, backfire? Mm-hmm. And maybe how you can use that insight.
Right. Okay. So perfectionism. We're often told, strive for the best. It's seen as a good thing. But this flips that idea.
It really does.
Yeah.
Basically, the core argument is that this drive for some ideal, perfect outcome often just leads to hesitation.
Yeah,
and inaction. If the bar you set yourself is just impossibly high, the fear of not meeting it can actually stop you from even starting.
Okay. Like trying to write the perfect opening line for something.
Exactly that. You can just stare at the blank page, right?
Yeah.
Forever.
So instead of making that flawless first move, we just don't move at all.
Precisely. And the source really emphasizes that progress, it rarely comes in these huge, perfect leaps. Mm-hmm. It's usually much more gradual. You build something, you test it, you refine it. If you're totally fixated on avoiding any mistake,
you miss the learning part.
You miss the learning. You lose that crucial feedback that, ironically, comes from the missteps themselves.
Okay, but here's where I get a bit confused, maybe. We are always told to aim for excellence, right? How does that square with this idea that perfection is bad?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's subtle, but it's important. Excellence is more about striving for high quality, continuously getting better.
Okay.
Perfection, though, as the source frames it, is more like chasing this abstract ideal that, it often doesn't even exist in the real world.
So it's unreachable.
Often, yeah. And the suggestion is that focusing on just doing something, on iterating, even if the first version isn't perfect, lets you learn and adapt way faster. And that actually leads to, bigger achievements in the long run.
So it's better to get something good out there and then improve it, rather than just waiting for some mythical perfect start.
Exactly. And what's interesting, too, is that sometimes this desire for perfection isn't even about the task itself.
What's it about, then?
It can be rooted in a fear of what other people will think, fear of judgment.
Ah, right.
But by delaying things, trying to make it perfect before anyone sees it, you actually just prolong that possibility of judgment and maybe miss out on good opportunities along the way.
Okay, so let's bring this back to listener. For you, someone who's constantly taking in new info, trying to learn, how can this idea actually be useful day to day?
Well, it really makes you think, doesn't it? Consider those times when maybe you felt swamped by a new topic. You need to understand every single bit perfectly right from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely felt that pressure.
The key takeaway here, I think, is that it's okay, actually. Yeah. It's probably better to start with just a basic grasp. Allow your understanding to build up more organically, through actually engaging with it, maybe even making a few mistakes.
So don't feel like you need total mastery before you can move on or use the knowledge. Just dive in and let it evolve.
That's the idea, yeah. And if you zoom out, the source kind of implies, this applies more broadly too, a society demanding instant perfection might actually stifle innovation, slow things down overall.
Wow, okay.
And that same principle works for your own personal growth, your learning journey.
That's a powerful connection. So the main message really is letting go of that need for absolute perfection can paradoxically unlock more progress. Speed up learning. It's about embracing the messy middle, the iteration.
Absolutely. A really crucial takeaway is just this. Progress isn't really about hitting some impossible standard of flawlessness. It's about consistently refining, improving what you've got. You know that saying, don't let perfect be the enemy of good?
Yeah.
Maybe it's also the enemy of done, or even the enemy of better.
The enemy of better. I like that. Okay, so a final thought then for you listening. Think about an area in your life, maybe a goal, a project you've been putting off. Perhaps because you're waiting for that perfect time or the perfect conditions or the perfect plan.
Yeah.
What's just one small, maybe imperfect step you could actually take today just to get the ball rolling?